started out drilling to make sure there wasn't any rock and realized the soil was so good, so now he's just drilling the perimeter and all around the pools, or all inside the pool, I guess. And then maybe gonna use a skid steer to scoop it, and then we'll rent an excavator. It's beginning to take some shape. Beginning to take some shape.
All right, first step done. Drove a stake in the middle, made a 24-foot circle, spray painted it, and then just went to digging. Augured a bunch of holes for the outline, and then started digging with the skid steer. Made a ramp right here, dug all that out best I could. So now I'm going to shoot it with a transit to see how deep I am. I'm probably within a foot of final depth. And then I'll probably finish it up with a mini excavator. That way I can get the walls straight and everything else. Progress.
Well, I went to physical therapy and we have a hole and some mounds.
All right, I got the next step pretty much done. It's within about an inch level around the outside. Shot it with a transit. Now I kind of have it a little bit lower in the middle. I'm gonna get a level and a big long board and kind of make sure all this is screeded out. And then I'm gonna go get the hoop sections and start temporarily bolting it in, and then I'll level it with that clear line in water, and so I'll make sure it's level all the way around, and then I'm going to pour some concrete under about 4 corners of it to get it completely solid so it doesn't sink any for any reason. So I was able to dig all this with a skid steer and haven't really needed a backhoe attachment or anything like that. So I got a 24-foot stick right there that I use to lay in the bottom to make sure that I have the right distance. So I think I'm in pretty good shape. We're gonna measure it and do some last minute leveling. All right, I got the next step pretty much done. It's within about an inch level around the outside. Shot it with a transit. Now I kind of have it a little bit lower in the middle. I'm gonna get a level and a big long board and kind of make sure all this is screeded out. And then I'm gonna go get the hoop sections and start temporarily bolting it in, and then I'll level it with that clear line in water, and so I'll make sure it's level all the way around, and then I'm going to pour some concrete under about 4 corners of it to get it completely solid so it doesn't sink any for any reason. So I was able to dig all this with a skid steer and haven't really needed a backhoe attachment or anything like that. So I got a 24-foot stick right there that I use to lay in the bottom to make sure that I have the right distance. So I think I'm in pretty good shape. We're gonna measure it and do some last minute leveling. All right, got it all level. Used a big piece of square tubing and a level, and just kept working on it till I got it all level and spread out, hauled in a bunch more dirt. So it's ready to start setting the ring. Then I'll mark it, then I'll drill some piles and put concrete in them so the ring doesn't sink any, and then plumb. All right, so I went and picked up the rings, got the first ring just bolted in with a couple bolts. I gotta move it around and make sure it's round. When you put your bolts in, use a rod like this put it in here and then line up the holes. Then the bolts go in easy. So fit it all up, get it round, and then go around and tighten. Then next I'm gonna pour some concrete piles around there to hold it up. So, all right, so I use a transit and set it on top and got everything within about a 1/2 inch all the way around. Shimmed it up. So tomorrow I'm gonna drill post holes on the outside and set some posts to hold this, give this something to push against, as the drawings show. And then once I get those set, I can take this section out, this section right here, and I can pull back in here to dig the trench for my drain, which is gonna be where the scissors are. And then I'm gonna dig a line over for a top jet that's gonna shoot over this way, because this top piece is gonna have my my skimmer on it. Then I'll set all my pump and equipment right over here on this back side, and the windmill somewhere in this region. So, all right, to be continued. And this thing is huge. It's too big.
The first layer is done, and now we're about to do the second.
Okay, next one.
Ow.
All right, bottom one. You having fun?
How's all these ropes? Ow.
Ready?
Yeah.
Ready? All right, so the progress, bolted up there, and I put 2 3/8 bolts in the middle. That way I can remove the end bolts to get the next joint up. And then I drill 2 holes. And this guy just sitting here and watches me the whole time. Look up. Up here. All right, got all the panels in, left that one out. Because now, after I weld these sections, I'll tack weld these down here so it doesn't spring. I'll take this section out. This is definitely a two-man job, so if you have a brother, use him. Then I'll come in here and trench down the middle. And to the other side, I'll put a jet over there on the other side towards the top that shoots towards the skimmer and a drain in the middle. And then I'm going to put sand and get ready. I'll cover the bolts with a small piece of bent flashing and a butyl tape. And I'll put butyl tape anywhere there's a hole or a bolt head coming up so the liner doesn't get hurt. So, and then it'll be ready for the liner. And then I'll put some water in it and backfill as I go. So now I'm going to take the transit and I'm going to shoot the top rim and make sure that it's perfectly level. So it was within a 1/2 inch earlier. All right, so here's the progress. Got all the bands and I left one band in to keep it round, and I dug post holes and set steel down in the ground. And I welded to all of these. So this will keep it round, and I'll take this section out so I can get a skid steer in there and put a chamfer of dirt around that so the liner can sit. And I'll cold galvanize that. And then on this side, I cut a hole for the skimmer. There's a skimmer. And I'm flattening the steel out so I can through bolt it. And then the skimmer will be level with the ground on the offside. And I'll have a top water jet over in this area and a bottom water jet over in the same area that'll push debris towards the middle that'll have a middle drain. So it's too wet to put dirt in there. I left from the rain. So now I'm gonna take out this section and drill holes for the jets and start laying out the plumbing. And then I'm gonna coat the outside below the dirt with a rubberized paint. It's actually made for trailer house roofs, so everything that'll be below the dirt is gonna have a rubber paint on it. And anything that got disturbed, I'll put a rubber paint on it. And then just to give a little, I cut 4-inch PVC into quarters, and they're gonna cover the bolts with a rubberized tape on top of it so there's a smooth transition where the liner sits. So the liner won't have any bolt heads sticking out. Then I'll cover all these holes with the rubber tape as well. So to be continued. All right, I got the holes cut. I was gonna use the hole saw, but ended up heating them with a torch, and then I'd heat around and then make them flat so the flange screws in flat. The flanges I use has an exterior flange, so the liner will go between there and there, and the bolt cover will sit on top of that like that, so the liner has a smooth transition. And then I'm gonna re-galvanize where I burn this away, and the skimmer hole over there. So I heated it and then flattened where all this stuff sits flush. So next step, wait for this to dry out, dirt, and then, but I can start plumbing the outside now. So on to the next. All right, so I took the pipe, used a weed burner, and heated up just where it gets a little shiny, and then I'm able to bend it around so I can make the radius of this for the jets. You can see how it lays in there. It's gonna come around and then run another one out of that one. You can see the white rubber paint. I need another coat. Next, we're caulking these seams so water doesn't come in from the top and get in between the sheets. So got the second coat of the coating on, which we used this. So Now for plumbing. Just don't spend too much time in one spot. I see it get a little shiny and then it'll start to wiggle. Arching this one to finish up the line. Got them all bent. Set around here. The jet bottom will go towards the middle to clean up and stir the bottom. And this one comes up for the top. It'll circle around and go to the skimmer. Most time the north wind pushes all the leaves over there anyway, so. Next, dirt work. Dig a trench across, and then I'll put all the valve boxes over here with a couple three-way valves. So that's the plan. All right, project continued. So the drain piping is in, the skimmer box I have over here, plumbing down and running this along under the ground. This will be the middle drain. I gotta get the right fitting there. That's a 2-inch, and then you go to 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna cover these up. We got quite a bit of rain, so I was trying to get all this while the ground's still frozen before I sink it with my mud boots. So we'll come out here. There'll be a 3-way valve, so we could select top or bottom or both, and then there'll be another 3-way valve that does bottom or top. So this will be injection for the jets. So presumably blow some water out yesterday, but that's the plan. I'll get this somewhat covered up. I'm not going to install the center yet until I get all the dirt work done, because I don't want to run over the skid steer and break it. So to be continued. Got it plumbed and mostly covered up today. All right, now for leveling it out. My drain's gonna be under here, so I put a bevel at the end. Now I got this piece, so I'm raking it to get it all nice and smooth. Then I'll put a little bit of sand down, and then some used carpet. And this is not fixed yet, so we're about halfway there. All right, so I got the lines buried. The drain hole is underneath that wood right there in the middle. Put down a light sand pad, level it all out. So next is I'll finish this one spot right here near the edge where the skid steer's in. And I'm going to bring the drain up to the bottom of that bar, so it'll be completely level with the bottom, maybe a 1/2 inch underneath it, not much. And then I'll fill in that hole, and then I'll close this out and dump dirt over the edge and spread it out, and I'll finish the panels and close it up. Then be ready for the next step, putting in a bottom cover to protect the liner, and then I'll work on the liner and bolt covers. All right, for covering the bolts, you can see what we're doing here, using flashing tape and sticking these on. So there's a smooth transition. I'm going to reheat up the top of these so this is real even and push this in, and then cover it back with tape. All right, so shape helped out and taped all the holes and bolts heads, so all that's all the way around. Next up, put carpet padding down on the sand, got it all leveled. So we'll put that down, and then we'll glue it on the sides as well after we put this last piece up. And then we're ready to put the liner, and then I'm going to put a piece of Trex around the top rim. So I need to get the Trex and bend all in and pre-draw the holes so I don't get shavings in the pool. So that's next on the list. All right, got some of the dirt work done. Now this is going to transfer into the hill. This will be level up here. You can kind of see I need to add some more dirt there because that's perfectly level. So it'll be about 1 inch under the top. bunch of carpet laid in the bottom. Now I'm going to get ready and lay this liner out and get it spread out. And then I'll put that last piece in so I don't have to climb in and out. Then I got to seal it. I got to go down there and take that apart first so I can seal the bottom to the bottom drain. But this adds just a nice cushy bottom so no rocks or nothing pokes on it. All right, so I took the Trex board and I cut it down by half and then trim the back of it off. Now I'm clamping it around the top rim. This will sandwich the liner in there. And so now I'm about to use stainless steel carriage bolts and then bolt this on so I don't get any shavings anywhere. And then I'm gonna put the carpet down and then I'm ready for liner. But I'll put that section in last. That way I can climb in and out easy without a ladder. If your wife's stuck at the tank, you gotta get her out. Alright, so I got the liner in, I spread it out, and then pulled it over the side, and then took this edging and just put it around there. I'm gonna put a foot of water in the bottom of it, and then I'll pull it tight and pick it up. So that'll stretch out the very bottom edge. Alright, so I got about 2 foot of water in there. As it's filling up, I'm going around and tightening the outsides, pulling them up, and then putting back on the edging. I got over this one. The water level got over it, so I had to put that piece on there and then put the screws in underwater. Not ideal. So there's another one up top right here that I'm going to try to get before that point. So it's going to take a while, but you can see it's working. Alright, so after I pulled the liner up all the way around, got it all square and let it set in the sun, I tightened it up and then took my boards and screwed them on the outside to clamp it. So I'm gonna let it fill up full of water. I may or may not cut this little piece off right here. We'll see. So, but it's looking good.
All to get the windmill top way up there. I know this doesn't look very high, but it's way up there. Rolling up the turf in order to
AstroTurf laid. It was free from a football field that they're taking down. So this rock will be the anchor for the ladder. It's going to bolt onto the top of that and then sit on the bottom. I got a mat going for that. I stacked these rocks up. It's just kind of a kid jumping point. But as you can see, we got it all filled. And now, getting it all cleaned back up, ready to go. I have an out pipe for the windmill that comes out. As you can see, it comes down with a piece of PEX and will tie into the pump discharge right here. So let's talk about this plumbing. I got the 2 drains coming out the bottom. One comes from the skimmer and one comes from the bottom, and then 2 discharges. This goes to the top of the tank and then to the bottom of the tank. And then so it'll circulate the dirt off the bottom towards the bottom and then runs up in the skimmer. I just came up here. This is an above ground pull tank. That's good. It's a 19-inch. Just an Amazon, $350 for above ground pool. So next I gotta wire it all in. I'll be running extension cord, but I'll run permanent power and a timer on it, and so it'll be good. And then I'm gonna build kind of a cover for it to keep the sun off of it. But that will conclude that, minus a little bit of dirt work. Finishing around here with a little bit more AstroTurf, so we're actually gonna mow this hill, so the turf will come around the bottom. But this is pretty much the finished product, as you can see. All right, we're gonna call it done. My wife did this awesome landscaping here. The pool's done. And I have a landscape light that's lighting up the windmill. It'll show better at night. This is the right kind of afternoon. So it's all done. The rocks for the boys to jump off of. The ladder anchored to the rock, the turf. Accent light. And the pump and timer running, so basically other than tidying some stuff up, we're calling this thing complete.